Over the weekend, Johnny Manziel spoke at the International Football Betting Conference in Costa Rica. He said he's still interested in playing football, including possibly in the Canadian League. Manziel also said he could see himself coaching, most likely in college. Let's take a listen to Johnny.
Where do you keep the Heisman Trophy?
It actually stays with my family. I had it my time in Cleveland, being kept around in the basement when all the guys would come down for the most part. But it's a heavy. It's no joke to really move that thing around. So,
Skip, what was your reaction to the whole interview?
Joy, Shannon, I still want to like Johnny. I have liked him for a long time. Still believe in his ability. The shows he used to put on at Texas A&M, Heisman Trophy, as he was just asked about. I've tried to suggest a few things in my own little ways, my 2 cents here and there. He doesn't want to hear it because he just doesn't get it to this day, and he doesn't want to get it. I remind you, we talked about Lisa Friel earlier. Mm-hmm. He's in Lisa Friel's program under the guise of the NFL. And because his domestic violence charges were dropped, he then had to undergo anger management and counseling. And he's in the NFL substance abuse program. Mm-hmm. And he still has to convince Lisa Friel that he belongs back in the NFL. So it's up to her to sign off on his reinstatement, at which time he still owes the NFL a 4-game suspension. Okay? Mm-hmm. So with all that writing, he winds up at this that you just saw, which was the International Football Betting Conference in Costa Rica. Obviously a paid gig. He was introduced, I watched the whole tape, which was obviously posted on the internet. He's introduced by a pretty bad stand-up comic making raunchy jokes, trying to warm up the audience by asking things like, who's hungover in here? Who's going to need a blood test when they get home? And how many of you guys have been introducing hookers as your wives? And this is the prelude to Johnny speaking. And the first question is about the Heisman Trophy, and Johnny says it's a heavy blankety blank. And I just cringed because that's going to get posted. Mm-hmm. And the men who make the decisions in the National Football League, men who have all considered Johnny as a possible face of the franchise quarterback, are going to cringe and say, ugh, you just can't use that word in public. You can get away with some things, but not that word right out of the box as you open your interview. Really? Wow. Does Tom Brady use that word in private? I'm pretty sure he does. Yep. Have you ever heard him say it in public? Nope. Aaron Rodgers? No. Drew Brees? No. You just can't. You're the face of a National Football League franchise. There's a certain decorum, a certain standard you just have to meet. And you have to show them that you get it, Johnny Manziel. Mm-hmm. And instead, he's reduced to talking about maybe going to Canada. He's talking about, well, I did get drafted by the San Diego Padres back in 2014. I may try baseball. I may take the Tebow route if this doesn't work out with the football. I've been told that he's not working out the way he was working out.
You could look at him and tell.
I know. He has filled out some. For a while, he was looking like addict, you know, like rail thin, like scary thin. And at least he certainly sounded very sober as opposed to all those TMZ interviews we used to see outside the clubs in Los Angeles. He seemed like he had his wits about him, and God bless him. I hope he's still observing his sobriety. But then he had to talk about coaching. You know, maybe I'll try coaching. Well, who's going to want Johnny to coach after all you've been through, all the image that you continue to portray as party hardy, man? I mean, to me, Johnny's on a path that finally Paris Hilton is on. She still gets like $1 million to go DJ at parties, you know? Okay, well, that's where Johnny's headed. He's going to get paid a lot of money at some point just to show up at your party, at the big Beverly Hills party. Yeah. Johnny Manziel, that's the path you're on, because you just don't get it. I don't get, why would you expose yourself to the International Football Betting Conference? I have no problem with them, but it's not for Johnny right now when you're in Lisa Friel's program, right?
How about this, Skip? How does the NFL feel about betting? Now they're one of the sports They're one of the sports corporations that's, basketball says it's going to happen, baseball says it's going to happen.
Adam
NFL,
Silver's saying we're heading there. But they're the one. No, you're right.
And for the longest time,
they're about to put a franchise in Las Vegas. But go ahead.
And it took them a long time to do that. But Vegas is putting up so much of the money.
Yep.
Skip, he says he wants to be a coach. How does he coach? Because you can't coach what Johnny could do. Johnny's whole thing was improvisation.
That's a good point.
How do you coach improvisation, Skip? And he just reacts. You can't coach that. You can't tell, Johnny, go back, drop back 5. That guy's going to come off the right side. I need you to spin, roll to your left, and then I need you to hit the guy in the back of the end zone. You can't coach that, Skip. And then I give him credit. Now, he gets an opportunity. Maybe he could help kids and say, guys, these are the mistakes that I made. And don't go down this path. And when things are starting to, you think things are starting to go, don't lie and hide behind it and says, I'm fine, I'm doing nothing wrong. Get help, seek help so you can have your career. Because I think the thing is, Skip, I don't really know what type of quarterback he could have been. Because I think everybody was thinking that he was going to do in the NFL what he did at Texas A&M. And you and I both know that wasn't going to happen. But that's what the expectations were. But because he had been coddled for so long, the NFL was unwilling to coddle him. Now, if he would have shown them that he could play really, really good, Skip, he still would have been in there. But you can't show up hungover.
You just can't.
You can't. I mean, when you're trying, especially, there's already a lot of expectations when you're a rookie and you're a first-round draft pick, and then you're a quarterback on top of it. So the one thing that you can't do is to give them any reason to doubt you. Because, first of all, you're younger than everybody that's in the huddle. And then you're going to show up late. You don't show up. You show up drunk. So what are they supposed? Is this the guy we're supposed to follow? So are we supposed to come drunk too? Are we supposed to miss meetings? Because that's the guy that's supposed to be the leader. And I say this all the time. There's a reason why great players hang around other great players. It's like movie stars. That's why they normally marry other movie stars, because the other knows what it's like. Well, Johnny, bruh, what are you doing? I mean, Skip, for me, here it is. This would have been his 3rd year or 4th year, Skip. And the guy's already talking about coaching. That's where he is. I mean, I think he knows, for all intents and purposes, it's over. Because if you're a team, Skip, why would you take a guy, even if you get him, he's going to miss the first 4 games. And then he's 1 strike away from missing out the entire season. Do you put your trust in him? Has he shown you that, you know what, I'm going to do the right thing? No, he hasn't shown that, Skip.
No, I know Sean Payton has had interest, and that would be a perfect place for him to land, because he's an against-the-grain guy who'd say, watch what I can do with Johnny. But not like this, because you're going to have a hard time just getting reinstated to be able to serve your 4 games suspension.
Correct. I mean, convince Lisa Friel that you're there, and then the commissioner is going to have to sign off on it. There's so much going on around him, Skip. You have to ask yourself, is the reward worth the risk?
Yeah, always. And, just like you said, being at a betting conference and then cursing right out of the gate, he's still just not getting it.
And it wasn't just a curse word, it was that curse word.
Yeah. That's why Stephen Jones was mentioned first in Jerry's thing, because he talked him out of taking Johnny Manziel.
Exactly.
He wouldn't have got in if he had taken Johnny Manziel.
Yep.